Ready for more stories? Welcome to Reminiscing, our Highline History, a radio show presenting the memories of our community in the Highline area. Listen to a new episode every week, Monday and Tuesday, with your host, Roger Price, at 106.5 LP FM, South King County.
Good afternoon. I'm Roger Price, and I'm a volunteer at the Highline Heritage Museum here in Burien. And we're going to interview Jeannie McCain today. And I'm sitting here going to ask her a few questions. So I'm going to turn it over to her. But first, I'm going to ask her if Jeannie, if you grew up in this area, or just where was it you did grow up?
Well, my father is a Northern Yankee from upstate New York, and my mother was a Southern Belle from Northern Alabama. And my dad was military, so I grew up mostly on the East Coast and ended up in here after I graduated from high school and had 1 year of college under my belt at the University of Pittsburgh. My dad was stationed out here, and so we moved from Great Falls, Montana to Normandy Park and lived in the house since then, and I still live in the house that they bought then. So,
And that was probably when?
1962.
Whoa, yes.
I've been here a long time, but I'm not a native long time.
Okay, so and then your dad was so was he at Fort Lewis? Where was he?
Here,
Yes.
my dad was an R&D officer, liaison in uniform to Boeing on the Minuteman II missile. And you guys got to be really old, like me, to remember things like silos and missiles inside of them and things like that. And then when that program went away, he was the engineering development officer on the SST that Boeing was building. So,
A lot of airplanes in your
a
background.
lot of airplanes in my background.
Uh-huh.
He was an engineer, and so he built them.
Oh, yes. Well, that was cool. And then, again, it was close. You lived in Normandy Park, so that was
Down
close.
the hill to Boeing.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, it's so you were, and then you probably were stationed different area. You say you were Great Falls,
Great Falls.
and a little colder climate there. And if you were in there in the wintertime.
I was there in the wintertime, and it's almost on the same latitude as Seattle, which is really kind of interesting. But it's cold, it's dry, and it's windy. But it was really a cool place to be.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really liked Great Falls. My mother, not so much, because the sand blew in the summer. And so there was always sand in the windowsills.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
My mother was not amused.
Oh, probably dust on the furniture and the,
Yep.
well. So then you came out to Seattle and Normandy Park,
Mhm.
and you let's see, did you go to college when you got out here, or?
I transferred from here. When I got here, I transferred from the University of Pittsburgh and became a Husky.
Oh, okay, cool.
Graduated from the University of Washington in 1965. Whoa.
Well, you graduated. That's cool.
I
Yeah.
graduated in 1965. Yeah.
So you were a Husky.
I was a
Through and-
Husky.
Mm-hmm.
My ex-husband is a Husky. My daughter is a Husky.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So,
You got a lot of Huskies in
Yeah,
your
a lot of-
family.
yeah.
Yeah. Saves on the arguments that way.
Well, it does. It does.
So yeah, that was pretty fun. Then you what did you do after you graduated then from the UW?
Well, got married for a start and then spent 5 winters in northern Maine, which again is on the same latitude pretty much as Seattle, but the winter snowpack, it's about 6 foot generally. So base housing has trails through it with big high walls that, you know, like in the cartoons.
Oh, yes.
And then when we got out of the military in 1970, came back to Seattle, and I went to work for a small supply house that sold BorgWarner furnaces and sheet metal and stuff like that. And then a couple of years into that, I went to work for a company called State Pipe and Supply from California. And then in 1992, I went to work for Puget Sound Pipe and Supply. I was there for 30 years and did a little bit of everything. I did sales, I did quality control. I have a business card that said Mother Hen because it was my responsibility to do mother things and fix it when it didn't work. And was one of the few women on the sales desk in this area. But the solution to that was it didn't matter. I didn't have to know how to put the pipe in the ground. I just needed to know what pipe you needed and how to get it to you.
Okay,
I
sure.
didn't have to install anything. So being girls didn't hurt us at all.
Uh-huh.
You just had to know what she's talking about.
There you go. Oh, yeah. So then in between there, after you graduated the UW and stuff, when did you get involved with the museum and meeting Cindy? Of course, you actually knew Cindy from the East Coast, I believe,
Yep.
wasn't it?
I'm involved with the museum since I retired in 2012 because Cindy told me I needed to come over and help. That's what I needed to do. Cindy Up the Grove, it's the small world thing. Cindy Up the Grove and I were neighbors. We lived 3 houses apart in Falls Church, Virginia, and went to high school together. Now we live 3 miles apart in Burien, Washington, and she got me involved with the museum. So I started out just being a 1 day a week volunteer doing whatever was there to be done, and transitioned into organizational stuff, making lists of items that we had in the collection that we didn't really have an inventory on. And then when we moved over here, I ended up being the office manager and the bookkeeper,
Oh, yes.
keeper of the money. And that's where I'm at right now.
So that was your background anyway, so it
Yep.
just transitioned very smoothly
Yep.
right into that. So yeah, and we got a nice new building here to do all your work in, so that's worked
Yep.
out really good. So other than now, you do have several hobbies. I know cars are involved in a lot of the things you do, so maybe
Well,
you can tell us about that.
my dad's name was Ford, so that dictates the way what type of cars we have at our house. My pride and joy is a 65 Mustang that I got when it was 10 days old. It's my college graduation present, paid for by my paternal grandmother. We have little Thunderbirds have a 55 Lincoln that I learned to drive on in Virginia. And have spent a lot of years on the board of being an officer of the Mustangs Northwest and in being in charge of a show that they put on every summer that's a 4-day event. And I also do volunteer work at the food bank, the local food bank. And I have in years done work with the VITA program, which is volunteer income tax, doing income tax for low income people for free. That's just a delightful job. You meet really cool people. And between those and my yard and here, I managed to stay fairly busy.
Yes, you have a full schedule. Yeah. And speaking of income tax, this is your busy time of year.
Yes.
So you will be busy for a while now.
Yes.
And you also did you also were involved in, what was it, the Salines or?
The Salines. It's a kind of Mustang. Steve Saline is a race car driver who back in 84 decided to build a race car that was street legal. And the first one he built in his house. How he got it out of the house, nobody's ever told, but it was put together in his house. And he makes some really go fast machines that are absolutely legal. The one I have is an Explorer, a 99 Explorer that's got all the bells and whistles, and it thinks it's a Mustang, and we don't tell him any different. So he scoots around corners and goes fast and does all the things that the Mustangs do. But you can carry an awful lot in the back of that Explorer.
Oh,
And
yes.
we do.
Yes, and there's probably quite a car club involved too.
Yes, there is. But my Explorer, there's only 148 of them, period, over a 3-year period. And so I get a lot of, I've heard about them, but I've never seen one.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then there are the folks who say, what is it? And is it real? Yeah, it's a 99 Explorer, and yes, it's real. So it's a really interesting, very interesting car that gets, even in his old age, a lot of attention. So he's my good boy, goes where I tell him to,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and carries me and cats and everything else.
Yes. So you have I remember you telling me about your experience with your adopted cat. You adopted, it's been a few years back now, and your other cat, they weren't exactly on friendly terms.
No, I had an upstairs cat and a downstairs cat, and never the twain shall meet, because the downstairs cat would destroy the upstairs cat. And the downstairs cat, who I loved very much, passed away. And so I got a second cat, thinking that I could have 2 cats and open doors. And that hasn't worked out either. The new cat is a bully. So the leftover old cat is still confined to the upstairs. But I spend as much time up there with her as I can. And the new one is about 2 years old, and her name is Chandler. And she can go from black cat to hellcat in less than a nanosecond. It's so we don't push her.
Yeah, so cats have a pretty independent, yes.
And she's also 20-something pounds, so I can't pick her up.
Yeah, these, yeah, got some bulk to her. Yes.
Well, we call her wide body. So,
Probably it feels like she could rule just about any kind of situation too. Yeah, well, that's fine. Kitty cats and cats are kind of fun, just
Yep.
like dogs. So that keeps you busy between running up the stairs and the floors of the house. It's always something going on. Yeah. So yes, getting back to the museum now. Yeah, you were at the before this building was complete. All the collections and stuff was stored over by the airport.
Yep.
And you did a lot of your
Organizing
and your and categorizing things over there. So you spent quite much time over there.
Well, yeah, and we got all of the high school stuff on an inventory. We got all of the personal material items, nightgowns and clothes and everything else, and the trophies. We have trophies, and they're also all numbered and inventoried.
Uh-huh.
So it's helping a little bit, but we're making progress.
Yes, each time you categorize something, there's a little more light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a big job trying to get everything squared away and wrapped and put in a proper place in the.
Well, we can't get to the boxes right now, so it makes life a little bit different
Oh yes,
because they're in that back aisle. All of the fabric materials, the high school and the personal and the everything else are all in boxes in that aisle we can't get into.
Yeah, that's getting a little cluttered. Sure, different things. So, yeah, and so you still have I believe you have a meeting here in the conference room every few months or something.
Well, I belong to an organization called Exchange Club, and it's a group that collects money from one event a year, which is a modified spaghetti dinner. And then we establish a budget and donate or hand out that money to small nonprofits in the area that don't have the any way to go to the big suppliers of money like Boeing and BECU and things like that. So some organization that needs $500 to upgrade their door system to keep people in or out, they can come to us and fill out an application, and we can give them $500.
Oh yes,
and the museum is also on the list of donors. And the fun thing that Exchange Club does is in the summer, we have 2 days where we park a truck in front of QFC or Trader Joe's or PCC and collect toilet paper for 3 food banks, Highline, West Seattle, and Des Moines. And it's hard to get people to understand that people on food stamps and things like that can't buy toilet paper. They have to buy it on the economy, can't have any paper products. So no toilet paper, no paper towels, no diapers, no feminine products, none of that stuff can be bought with WIC money, which is really kind of sad. So we give everybody a reminder when they go in to the stores that it would be nice if they would buy some toilet paper. And generally, Per year, we donate between 20 and 25,000 rolls of toilet paper,
Wow, that's nice.
divided
Yeah.
among the 3 food banks.
Yeah, and it brings awareness to the community that there's a need for these things that people on the WIC program or whatever can't buy that with their
Nope.
vouchers. So
Nope.
it's a really nice deal.
Yeah, that and so like a family, when we start handing it out, a family of 9 comes into the food bank. They get 9 rolls of toilet paper. We generally try to give them 1 per person in the house.
Mhm.
And I cheat when it's some of the people who are only a single in their house. I tend to give them a second roll.
Oh yeah, sure.
Just because.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm sure they appreciate that even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's good. That's a nice organization that you have there. So
You know what? It's amazing what you learn at the food bank. Took me a while to understand that a lot of the people that were coming in there couldn't use any of the foods that we had to offer them because they were living in their car, they were living on their street, and didn't have a way to keep milk in the summer, didn't have a way to heat things. So dry cereal worked. A can of something that they could just stick in a fire and heat, but nothing that was perishable because they didn't have anywhere to keep it.
Mhm.
And so we have learned to be a little bit more selective in the things that we offer some of our regulars, and make sure that they have food that they can use.
Oh, great. That's really an awesome thing. Yes. So, wow. Yeah. So that's kind of what your day to day.
That's me.
Yeah. So that's really a really nice deal. And then your involvement with the museum is a key part of getting this thing really keep running. So
I try hard. I try hard.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Then once in a while you get the chance to maybe sneak away for a vacation too.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to sneak away for a vacation next month when I get my shoulder done.
oh, you're gonna have a little shoulder work replacement
Yep.
on your shoulder. So
Yep.
well, that'll be and it's well deserved. So you need to get a little
Need to get it.
little R&R.
Little R&R, yep.
Okay. Yeah. Well, gee, I'm glad that we were able to. I don't know if there's another thing you want to add to this, but it's
Thanks for the opportunity.
yeah. Well, thank you for this experience we had today. So it's a little bit more about what our volunteers actually do. They're not just coming in here to goof off. We're getting a lot of work
there's
going
a
on.
lot of work. I remember when we were trying to get this building ready to open, we were working 10-hour days, 6 days a week.
Mhm.
And my little Fitbit often said I'd put in 4 miles.
Oh, yeah.
We did a lot of work, and we're really proud of the product we produced when we got through.
Yes, and it's a work in progress, but it's something that is very much be proud of. So
Yep.
I'm thankful that you were able to share this with us today. So Jeannie, thank you very much.